Track, going to be the theme of today, but here we go. Looks like we are getting started.
Yeah, and half magic. Interesting that Asclepios and Rywek both starting at the Sank. On the other side, you see both runners kind of splitting duties, and we got Pendant at Eastern and Crystals at Desert and Tower of Hera. Okay, looks like Rywek's heading over to do a Houlihan. So this is a glitch where you trick the game into dropping you into the wrong room when you fall through that hole, and you get put in a room with 225 rupees that you can just collect. So you don't usually see it right at the start of the game, but maybe this is a co-op strategy they've developed.
And seeing on Furaime's side, 300 rupees there near Uncle, that's kind of going to negate that whole Houlihan play as well as a sword there on the Uncle. And we saw that Rod picked up that glove. That is in Lost Woods.
Yeah, and Kyong's going to find that as well. So Furaime, so we had a sword at Uncle, and Furaime is going to take that and head straight into Escape.
Yeah, I like this play here by Furaime going directly in. You need 3 items potentially here. Sometimes progression usually lies behind this, so we'll see what we find.
Yeah. So Rywek using that money to purchase some bombs, and he is going to be, looks like, heading towards the eastern area. Meanwhile, Asclepios heading into Blind's hut.
And it looks like Furaime just got the second glove upgrade inside of Escape in that first chest. So that is Titan's Mitts already between all of our runners once we kind of round about and circle around.
So still looking for that Moon Pearl for Dark World access. Blue mail in the back of Blind's hut. Nothing much in the front. So we'll see if the runners decide to make a trip in there for the blue mail. And Green Pendant is going to be Misery Miner today.
Got a very rich seed on our hands here. Seeing a lot of runners picking up those 300s around. So I don't think money is going to be an issue for these guys today.
AsclepiosRod out of bombs. Oh, it has 1 bomb, right, from the bushes there. So we're going to farm some more out of the hut here. Kyong, meanwhile, heading into the well, we find another sword. So we get 2 swords and 2 gloves already.
Yeah, it's an interesting item layout here early on. You know, you've got 2 things, you know, the sword potentially pointing you to maybe Aga down the stretch, but then again, you know, you've got those gloves. We're going to have to do it eventually since this is all dungeons, but for now, we got another fetch quest item. There's the shovel on the chicken hut.
Rywek finding the Eastern Palace big key in the first chest.
And it looks like Furaime is going to be heading down to South Shore to give us, I believe this is going to be our first look of this area.
Tadaro asks, has the Master Sword progression bug been fixed? Yes, that was fixed a couple of months ago, I think. So there can be progression on the tablets. Furaime finding a blue boomerang at the dam. Ooh, I did not see what was in the library there.
That was just 3 bombs, so I don't think we're going to see anybody, at least on that team, heading back to the library today.
And there's another fetch quest, the mushroom. Some bombs on a boss. Kind of a useless hint there. And some bombs in the big chest.
lot of bombs. Whether the seed's telling us about them or giving them to us. But it looks like just 5 rupees there on the dig spot. So that fetch quest is coming up with a whole lot of nothing.
Alright, Furaime. Oh, missed that Moldorm, but is now heading into Mini Moldorm Cave. There's our other boomerang. And there's our Moon Pearl, so we got Dark World access now.
Yeah, that's going to be crucial. Will be interesting to see if one of the guys decides to circle around and get that other glove to go ahead and make that plunge into Dark World and check deeper to see how much progression we can get and how quickly we can get it.
Yeah, and so with a compass in the big key chest, I do believe there is the last item in Eastern is on the Armos Knights. So the first 2 items were both junk, so no one's gonna, or his teammate will know not to head back in there without the bow. Furaime heading to Ice Rod Cave, while AsclepiosRod starts the South Shore.
And just more bombs there on the Ice Rod Cave today.
Yeah, and Kyong, first runner to pick up the Master Sword. And Asclepios finds the mushroom for Lay's French Canadian. As Kyong heads into the back of Escape, and Furaime gonna do some fake flippering.
Yeah, you got a few checks here, especially with that Moon Pearl and enough money. We can go ahead and route in all of Zora. The only thing they'll have to leave potentially is the Zora Ledge, but you know, given how many items are available to him with this fake flipper, definitely a good play.
Yep. So Kyong, the first runner now with Titan's Mitts, still hasn't got that Moon Pearl yet, and isn't going to go for it just yet either. Looks like maybe checking out Sahasrara and possibly a dip into Eastern.
Yeah, probably streamlining all this in since they have not done that dip into Eastern yet. They're not, you know, obviously not sure what that hint is going to be. So that could be valuable to them.
And we had another sword on Hobo, so that's 3 of our swords already.
That's a pretty nice sequence break, because that's going to speed up bosses for sure, and just, you know, enemies throughout in general.
Yeah, and Furaime also finding a bottle with blue goo. That's a pretty nice safety to have early game. And Asclepios just checked out the back of Escape. I did not see if there was anything in there.
I missed that as well.
But we got Furaime heading over to King Zora. And just a piece of heart there. Furaime says, I might as well grab that. I'm only on 3 hearts still.
Yeah, you want to minimize this, you know, as many heart pieces, I guess, that you have to go out of your way and containers to get. So if one's on your path, you kind of just want to go ahead and pick that up.
Yeah. Yeah, co-op, I don't know if you've ever seen spoiler races. Co-op sometimes does feel a bit like a spoiler race because you'll know sort of in advance when you're heading to areas that your teammates already gone to. So oftentimes you'll end up with fewer hearts than you would in a solo seed.
Yeah, it almost looks kind of like the runners that, you know, near the end may only have, you know, maybe hard or expert difficulty where the life is staggered down, but not the case. It's just that obviously we don't want to have to make checks that are too time costly.
And Furaime turned in that mushroom, found out there was nothing, so he's going to hard reset, which will allow him to keep his mushroom for potentially a fake powder glitch later on. So I'm a little surprised actually that Kyong decided to go into Eastern instead of grabbing that Moon Pearl and going to the Dark World. Maybe they decided Furaime is going to do that.
Yeah, it would have been very far out of Furaime's way, in my mind, to have to go back up to, to leave what he was doing. But we'll see where they decide to go. I'm curious to see what we're going to find here coming up in Village of Outcasts and Thieves Town.
Yeah. So, Furaime, the first runner with Dark World access. Oh, no, AsclepiosRod also with Dark World access from the well there. And gonna dive straight into Skull Woods.
A lot of times you'll see runners like skip Skull Woods, kind of put it off maybe to get that Fire Rod. But here, with co-op, you have that opportunity to go ahead, knock this out, because if, your progression lies here and you end up last locationing it, it's really, really gonna, come back to bite you.
Yeah. Especially when you're only on Titan's Mitts and you don't have the hammer yet. So you really only have one entrance to the Dark World. So AsclepiosRod going straight for the vanilla big key chest. Probably hoping to pick up a small key, but gets a big key instead.
Well, that's definitely going to make clearing out the front much smoother. We'll be able to route in that big chest as well, not have to, go back and forth potentially.
Yeah. And looks like Kyong is heading over towards Agina. So this is a check that in a solo race you're often going to orphan, but in a co-op race it's often a little more worth it to go out of your way to do these checks. Desert Ledge is just 20 bucks. And we see Furaime is heading in to grab that blue mail, and I think he's going to skip the rest of Blind's Hut.
Yeah, just a small key for Skull Woods in that big chest, and another one to the left of that. So a whole lot of nothing so far in Skull Woods for Rod here.
Yeah, not much at Agina either. So Rywek heading up to do fake flippering, so it might be the first runner on Tempered Sword. And here's our Dark World map check. We got Pendant at Thieves Town, Green Pendant at Mire, 5-6 crystals at Swamp and Ice.
That layout will tell us potentially a little bit what we could find in Ganon's Tower, since this is all dungeons, but not always going to be the case. We'll have to see, maybe we need a medallion for Mire that's not going to be out in the overworld.
Agina's Cave, or Lumberjack Cave rather. Just some money there, so probably won't bother with that.
And it looks like Kyong is going to go ahead and sequence break and head on up the mountain.
Yeah, I think this is probably not a play you'd normally make. in a solo game, but in co-op, I think they may be trying to just cover as much ground as possible between them. So Kyong doesn't necessarily want to head into Dark World when Furaime is already there. So that may be what they're thinking.
Yeah, plus if he were to, you know, find a hook shot, this is going to give him that nice save and quit point to get up here, get further up the mountain. Mirror would also be, you know, kind of that nice item to find, to be like on standby for.
Yeah, and oh, there's a flute at the chest game.
So suddenly the mountain that Kyong is on is in logic, but yet to see if anything's going to be of any use inside Spectacle Rock.
Yep. Asclepios finds the red cane inside Thieves Town. And Kyong finds a hint that a unique item is in Thieves Town, so...
The timing on that was impeccable.
Yeah. Hey, Furaime, gonna head over, just check bumper ledge real quick. Just a piece of heart there.
All right, so it looks like Kyong is going to join Furaime in Dark World now.
AsclepiosRod continuing through Thieves Town, heading towards the back. It's a little bit of a gamble to go in here without the hammer, since you may isolate an item in the big chest. But at the same time, your teammate will be able to check it, since they'll probably wait for the hammer to come in here.
Plus, with that, we still haven't found that small key, so there's still the hope that, you know, it's locked within that big chest.
Yeah. So Furaime gonna do some overworld checks while Kyong is in Thieves Town. So no sign of the hammer yet. That's kind of the big item we're still looking for to really open things up here. And of course, finding the mirror or hookshot, that would open up a lot of stuff on Death Mountain as well.
And we got a hint here in Thieves Town that just a heart in the big chest of swamp, so that's going to be one less check the runners have to do there.
Yeah. Furaime needing a lot of digs, but finds a heart container. And Furaime is going to do the Smith chain, or at least part of it. These are always some annoying checks to do when you don't have the mirror, because you got to basically bring the frog on a world tour until you have a chance to save and quit.
Yeah, luckily there's a few checks along the way he'll be able to knock out, like Stumpy here, which is only $50 today. But we also got Hype Cave. You know, it hasn't been too hype lately, but we'll find out if that's going to be the case today.
Yep. AsclepiosRod finds the small key in Zelda's cell. Now, I haven't been counting items, so I'm not sure if there will be one in the big chest. But here's Hype Cave from Furaime. there's our hammer. So nothing else really, but hammer is pretty big.
Yeah, a bit of an unknown now. We'll have to see if we get an item here on blind. I think we've gotten 3 at a minimum, but not 100% sure on that.
And Rywek went into the tavern to talk to the guy at the bar. That's kind of an interesting play.
Maybe he needed to go pick up a drink or something.
Yeah. The AsclepiosRod finishing off blind, and Kyong just starting the blind fight. And we did have a Bombos medallion on blind.
And that I think that is all 4 of our items. So we may not have to go back for that big chest.
Yeah. Furaime now turning in the blacksmith. And finds the lamp.
So we've got our first fire source now. We'll be able to put those dark runes into logic, and if there's any torches that need to be lit along the way, we can do that as well, as we see Kyong picking up their flute.
So given that Rywek is now going into Thieves' Town, I think it's safe to assume there is no item in the big chest. Since AsclepiosRod would have told them that.
Yeah, indeed. And I guess with the way I was wondering why he actually had gone into Thieves' Town here, but since we did get Bombos and that cane, it kind of makes sense. Asclepios already having that done. It wouldn't make too much sense for both of them to head to the southern portion of Dark World.
Yeah, and Rywek can just kind of breeze through here. So Furaime now doing the hammer pegs. Kyong gonna take the smith with him to get that lamp, and he'll find the hammer as well.
Just a heart piece in that hammer peg game, so that is of no value today. But we do still have this purple chest to turn in.
And AsclepiosRod makes his way into Hyped Cave, so these French Canadians now know where the hammer is.
That's going to give these guys, a little bit more freedom with routing, going back and forth from Light World to Dark World, as far as going to Dark World. There's a cape, though, on that purple chest. We saw that, I believe that the Bumper Cave ledge was trash, so I'm wondering if that's trying to point these guys to maybe Spike Cave down the line.
Yeah, that's a possibility. And with half magic, that cape is really nice safety to have.
Yeah, especially in these low percent style, runs here where your life is going to be very, very limited. So definitely always something nice to have.
I think that was Ether for Misery Mire. I didn't see it very clearly, but we got, 2 unique items in the Mire Shed, the Mirror and the Magic Powder.
That is the Hype Shed today.
So that mirror is pretty huge. That's going to open up Desert. That'll open up all of East Death Mountain. We'll open up a few other isolated world checks. Furaime going to head straight into Desert. And AsclepiosRod heading up towards Catfish. We haven't seen this yet.
That blacksmith is getting quite the tour today.
And Hinton Desert says there's a unique item in Spiral Cave. So we can't get there yet, but I imagine... Well, actually, no, we can. We have the mirror.
Yeah, with that hammer and mirror, and looks like Desert is not boots locked today. There's that big key for Furaime. And we've got a light, our fire source as well, so we can get to the back.
Yeah, Desert is logically boots locked with that big key on the torch. And oh look, the flippers in the big chest. Right. So Furaime finds that right as Kyong did some fake flippering. So Furaime going to go to the to face Lanmo. So we'll see if there's an item on Lanmo, or if that second item ends up being boots locked on the right side. And Kyong is making the play into ice.
I really like this play. You know, based on what your teammate has found, that this is in full logic now, based on the those flippers. And you've got your Bombos medallion as well. 3 items, 3 hints. There's a lot of potential here.
Some cash and a compass fire locked in Mire, so that's a good hint to have.
Yeah, that's pretty much going to negate left side Mire for this team. So that's a huge time save.
I believe Desert Ledge was checked. It was nothing of importance. I don't know if the right Furaime will do an interview has checked it. And looks like we're going to get a fake powder here from AsclepiosRod.
Yeah, this could be huge. This is going to take a good bit of time, unfortunately, to drain that half magic with just that lamp. But I know they're hoping this is going to be worth it. As we see the book there for Furaime in Checkerboard Cave. So now those tablets come into play.
Yeah, we already had desert access, so we don't need that necessarily, but it could open up some items in the tablets.
Yeah, Mire area really coming in strong today. You know, ton of unique items, and we didn't even get inside Misery Mire yet.
So, Furaime is he heading towards Swamp? Looks like it. Oh, maybe the Bombos tablet first.
Yeah, like you were saying, we already had that access to Desert with the mirror where it was, so maybe wanting to make this a priority to go ahead and check this Bombos tablet. We've seen progression here before since that bug has been fixed, so wouldn't be surprising to see it again, obviously.
And it looks like we're getting a play into Pod from Rywek. Bombos tablet coming up empty. Furaime might also route in a K45 check here.
And there's Quake for Kyong.
Yeah. Could be required.
So at this point, between all 4 of the runners, all 3 medallions have been found. So we pretty much have all our entry requirements for our dungeons as far as Turtle Rock and Mire go.
Yeah. So Furaime now heading towards K45. And there's our bug net and Ice Palace. So that's 2 unique items so far.
Oh, there's our bow. That is in K45. So that is probably going to feel bad for Les French Canadiens with making this dive into pod, unless we manage to get some other form of progression here.
And looks like Kyong was trying to do the bomb jump to get to the iced tea room. Wasn't able to get it. So he'll have to loop around and go the long way.
Yeah, this walk isn't too terribly long, but, when you're trying to set that bomb jump up and you miss it, then, it always feels much longer than it actually is.
Yeah.
So with the powder actually in hand, Furaime going to go do this magic bat check. We know it's just $50, but was in logic at this stage. So that's pretty much all of our fetch quests that we found early. Even mid-game here, they all came up empty for us.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. Usually when you find early fetch quests, they often lead to progression, but not today. As we see Furaime now making his way up the mountain. A lot of items up here to check. As well as Hera, which can be fully completed now.
And Asclepios picking up their tempered sword. Meanwhile, Rywek did do that bottle glitch to get over to the right side of pod, just some arrows and a key. So now we'll get the check of what is in the back.
Furaime gonna give us the ether tablet check. Heart container there. When you're only on 6 hearts, you're not going to complain too much about that.
Yeah, heart pieces, come and go. It's not too big of a deal, but those heart containers, you kind of want to get as many of them as you can, since that's guaranteed a full heart every single time.
Yeah. Kyong makes nice work of cold stare. And finds the third item, just a heart piece there.
So Ice Palace really kind of coming up empty, except for Quake. We don't know if that's going to be a requirement just yet.
So Furaime finds out that the basement of Hera is required. We have a kind of another funny situation where Rywek doing the dark rooms, but his teammate's the only one with the lamp.
Yeah, it's one of those deals of, you hate to leave where you are. It feels like a bit of a time waste, especially since both of these guys don't know where the bow is, but, you end up hemorrhaging time doing these dark rooms this way. Even though you may be perfect at it, it's still going to be a little bit slower at minimum versus doing it with the lamp.
Yeah, so looks like pod coming up pretty empty, unless there was an item in the dark room we didn't see.
I know I saw bombs in there, but I'm not sure if there was anything in that top chest. But I do think it did come up empty for us today.
So Les French Canadian getting a hint about a unique item in Spiral Cave.
And there's 10 bombs and a joke hint here so far in Tower of Hera.
Ooh,
and a hook shot. That's huge. We've got those Titans mitts. That is going to basically open up everything on the mountain for these guys to check in one shot. So that's a pretty good find.
Yeah, and it also makes Swamp Palace full clearable now.
Yeah, it's probably a good thing Furaime did not do that swamp dip, checking that Bombos tablet.
AsclepiosRod taking a moment to decide where to go, maybe discussing with his teammate. As Furaime finishes off Hera. And now Kyong gonna head into pod. This time with the lamp, so we'll be able to see everything.
Yeah, lamp, bow, hammer. So this is going to be a full clear here for Kyong. Go ahead and knock all of this out. But for now, looks like Furaime is going to drop down and opt to do Spike Cave.
Yeah. Yeah, with that hook shot, that'll make it quite a bit faster to get over to East Death Mountain. So this play makes sense.
So Asclepios is going to be disappointed with just that piece of heart there on the Bombos tablet. Looks like that was 300 rupees inside of Spike Cave today.
It looks like Furaime opting to walk out of Spike Cave. I don't know if he's going to make it. Well, just barely.
Very nicely done.
Yeah. Is that even faster than just saving and quitting?
Well, he does get the benefit of not having to worry about dead rocks or those falling rocks. So in Dark World, he can mirror right here, like as he's doing. So maybe a little faster. If so, that's a very heads-up play by him.
Yeah.
And Rywek now making their way into Tower of Hera. Going to be finding that hook shot along the way. And Asclepios is hot on the trail here. Going to be finding that bow in Cave 45.
I would be almost tempted to go straight for Spiral Cave. Hoping that that unique item will be the boots. If they're a little faster.
Yeah, I mean...
But Rywek is actually forced to leave Hera since he does not have a fire source.
Oh, no. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. And there's... I think that's Silver's up on the floating island.
Nice find. And red mail for Furaime. And the fire rod.
Speaking of fire sources, there's yet another one for Team Furaime.
So hopefully Rywek will take that fire rod and head straight back to Hera because he's going to want that hook shot. And there indeed are the boots in Spiral Cave.
You called that.
Yeah, those unique item hints, those are the boots so often. I imagine Furaime will be picking those up pretty soon as well.
Yeah, indeed.
Here's our check of Super Bunny Cave. Question in chat: are team members allowed to talk to each other on item locations? Yes, they are allowed. They are in a voice chat, so they're constantly communicating with each other, telling each other where everything is. So that's why you'll see them skip a lot of locations.
Yeah, coming down the stretch when we hit go mode, that co-op aspect you'll really see in full force, just because they'll be like, you know, dive bombing, going straight to the chest with the big key and whatever small keys may be required to get to the bosses. It's one of the really fun things. It kind of makes it like we were talking earlier, like the spoiler log tourney, but obviously you still have to explore and find things.
Yeah. We did get a check from Furaime of Turtle Rock. It does require Quake.
And that's good news for them, considering neither Asclepios or Rywek have dipped into Ice Palace yet, and we know that Quake is buried pretty deep on the right side over there.
Yeah, so very good call on their part for making that early Ice Palace dive. Furaime decides those silvers are worth the time to go pick up.
Yeah, considering he was already going to be doing Hookshot Cave, I don't blame him for picking these up at all.
And he's going to find the boots now. AsclepiosRod and Kyong almost perfectly synced, heading into the back of pod to fight Helmosaur.
And unfortunately for Rywek, not having that fire source to begin with, going to be dipping into Hookshot Cave potentially twice once he goes back and gets that hookshot.
Yeah. And yeah, as someone in chat has pointed out, we're just looking for the ice rod now. That is the thing with these co-op tournaments. If you split up, your item search between your two partners, you're going to hit go mode pretty quickly. Go mode in 40 minutes or so is not uncommon.
Yeah, and when you're hitting go mode like this, it's not so much of you're almost done at that point. Then it's all about that execution and how well you communicated with your teammate, making sure your partner knows where those keys are, what's the fastest way through this dungeon, what can I skip, can I key steal anywhere. It's a lot of communication goes on in these.
Yeah, for sure. Down goes Helmosaur for Kyong.
And there's just a bottle there on Graveyard Ledge for Furaime.
So Team Furaime will do an interview, definitely ahead, both in terms of dungeon counts and how close they are to go mode. They only need the ice rod. Team Les French Canadians, well, they're going to find their hook shot here, but they're still looking for that Quake medallion in addition to the ice rod. And it could be a while before they make their way into Ice Palace, because that's one of those dungeons you like to try to put off in hopes of go moding it. But that's not going to happen today.
Yeah, I was a little shocked initially that Furaime did not go ahead and try to dip into Turtle Rock just to see, but not having that Quake medallion and his partner having that one from dipping ice, that is going to not let him do it.
Yeah. But yeah, we've seen most of the other dungeons, most of the overworld checks at this point, so there is a good chance that we have the classic ice rod in Turtle Rock. Furaime, meanwhile, heading into Skull Woods. I think there's at least one item in the back, if I remember correctly. So,
yeah, I do believe you're right. So, yeah, we'll get one check back here, and we'll get this dungeon knocked out while we're at it.
So Rywek facing off against Moldorm as Kyong and AsclepiosRod take on Armos Knights. And we find a Cane of Burna.
Yet another safety. Good to have, although we've already got that cape. So, well, I take that back. Kyong does not have the cape. So, if in need of a safety, it'll be nice to have that.
Yeah. And here's Furaime against Mothula. And takes Mothula down, no problem. Just some bombs.
And Rywek has made his way back into Hookshot Cave, finding a whole lot of nothing, unfortunately.
Yeah, has picked up those silver arrows, though.
It'll be interesting to see if the French Canadians decides to make the play down into. Looks like we're getting that swamp play, so this will be 6 new items checks potentially. We do know they need that Quake medallion in Ice Palace.
Yeah, but the ice rod certainly could be in here. And there's a ped check from Furaime, just a rupee hoard, so that's 300 rupees. Don't think they'll be back to pull that.
Yeah, this seed's been pretty rich. We don't need money at this point either, so never forget, the ped is dead.
Rywek picking up their bow. And Furaime making their way into swamp. So it looks like we'll have swamp plays on both bottom runners. While both top runners also in the same spot in Hera Basement.
Yeah, I think the big difference here with the 2 top runners is, eventually Kyong, knowing probably by now that that Quake medallion is going to unlock TR for him, may decide to head on in there once they get that Fire Rod.
Yes, Rywek hasn't picked up the flippers yet, so that's actually going to make a swamp dive a little more difficult.
Yeah, we haven't found a way to fake Flipper through swamp just yet, so gonna need him. Yeah, Furaime's heart count there with that extra heart container looking mighty steep for this co-op, up to 10 hearts now.
Yeah, 10 hearts red mail is more than enough. So I don't think Furaime is going to be going out of his way for any more safeties at this point.
Yeah, most definitely. And on top of that, you said red mail. We've got that butter sword as well. He's got the cape. So, and I know we've got a couple bottles in hand. So that's definitely, stacking up those safeties for these guys. And Asclepio's picking up their hook shot as well.
And looks like Rywek going to be making the Meyer play. Still has not picked up the lamp. So we'll see how they deal with the dark basement. No invincibility items either. Furaime going to be heading to the back of swamp first. Not sure whether they'll check left side. Oftentimes runners will save the left side for after they've defeated Argus.
Yeah, especially without that big key showing up. But then again, I'm not sure if Team Furaime ended up getting that hint about the big chest just being a heart. But if you find that big key in the back, it's much better to have more than one check to do.
Yeah. Well, there's the compass, so we know there's at least one item on the left side. And there's the big key. And there's the boots for Asclepios.
And Furaime making their way to Argus.
And already done with the puffs. I blink and you miss it. That was a very quick fight.
Yeah, very nicely done. Just 10 arrows on Argus, so no ice rod here in the front and the back. We'll have to see if it's on that left side. I'm sure Furaime will just go ahead and decide to route that in. No point in orphaning things in co-op.
Yeah, for sure.
There's 10 arrows. I believe that's our first item here in Mire for Rywek. We'll see if we can get that big key and head on to the back.
Yeah, and we do know from a hint the other item in Mire is trash. I'm not sure if Les French Canadians got that hint.
Doesn't look like they did, because he is going to check that big chest, because there was that big key.
Yeah, so that'll be unfortunate bit of a time sink for them, but looks like Kyong now making the play into Turtle Rock. Given what we've seen so far, it seems pretty likely that the Ice Rod is in here. There's not a lot of other locations left. The ice... Oh! What a hint. Wow. The Ice Rod is on Pyramid Ferry.
That was fantastic. That couldn't have been in a better spot.
And Furaime... Why is he still doing the left side? Maybe... Has Kyong not told him this hint yet?
Maybe not.
This is kind of strange that Furaime is still doing the left side, because the Ice Rod's the only thing they need. Oh no, they're still looking for Ether. Alright, thank you, chat.
Yes, this is true.
That Ether medallion was that was on Catfish, right?
Yeah, I do remember chat saying they were hoping Furaime and Kyong do not orphan Catfish, because that's kind of all by itself at this point.
Yeah. Well, so where's Furaime headed next? Is he... Oh, he's headed into Ice Palace so he can get his Quake. Okay.
Yeah, that's going to be something he's going to need for sure. Plus, that is, I believe, one of our 5-6 crystals, so he is going to need that as well to get that Ice Rod.
Ooh, Rywek taking a death. Does have a fairy, though, so that's good.
And Fairy bailing him out there.
But yeah, this Mire Dark Room definitely one of the most difficult dark rooms in the game. Looks like he's gotten through to the last dark room. And Kyong headed to Knockout Desert. And may go into Mire. Or no, they don't have Ether, so he's not going into Mire after this.
Yeah, that Ether, it may come back to haunt them here. That's really a good advantage. It's almost just as equal. I mean, it's pretty much an equal advantage of what, Furaime and Kyong have with knowing where Quake is here in Ice Palace. The difference is that these guys are going to have to go into Ice Palace versus, Kyong and Furaime don't technically have to do Catfish. It's not part of the goal, but, they're going to run out of item checks here eventually with 2 people checking everything.
Correct. The lamp was on the blacksmiths, I believe. Was that right?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely not the most convenient check.
It's a little more convenient now that Rywek has that mirror, because initially when we found that, we didn't have the mirror. But at this stage, it's just a pod and an Eastern dark room left, and Turtle Rock, if you really even want to call that a dark room.
Yeah, and with half magic, you're not worried about the Ganon fight.
Yeah, that Ice Rod hint, Goomba, was in TR, the most convenient place for that hint to show up.
Yeah, I believe Kyong walked into Turtle Rock, read that hint, and then walked right out. So, at this point, French Canadians really need to make their way into Ice Palace to find that Quake medallion so they can go to Turtle Rock and get that hint.
Yeah, that's really going to be what is holding them up, because as we see, Furaime here did pick up Quake already at Cold Stare. They're basically done with this dungeon as well as others, and neither one of them have even explored it yet, so they won't be go-moding that today. At least the first person in won't be.
Yeah, and Furaime using that butter sword to make very, very quick work of Cold Stare.
All right, so let's see where Furaime is going to head next. Looks like Flutin' 4. This might be our catfish.
Well, he's going straight to Pyramid Fairy, I think, to get that Ice Rod. And yeah, if he makes his way up to Catfish, they'll be in go mode.
Accidentally buying look like both of the bombs there. That was interesting.
Furaime trying to set up the bomb dash here. Let's see if he goes for the bomb dupe. Well, he's going for it. And looks like he got it. Yep, got it.
Yeah, very nicely done. Right, so Kyong is here with Argus. making very quick work of those puffs, getting all but 2, almost getting that 0 cycle. It's one of the hardest things to do in this game. Asclepios not too far behind him in the backside here of Swamp.
And there is the ice rod for Furaime. And looks like he is not saving quitting, so this must be a catfish play. It is. Alright, so at about 1 hour and 1 minute, that is go mode for Team Furaime will do an interview.
Yeah, and with that, they've got, you know, a pretty good pattern here. Furaime will be able to knock out Eastern and Pod really quickly, since I'm pretty sure, you know, Kyong's already done that, so he's going to know where those keys are. You know, Thieves is another one as well. The only only 2 unknown dungeons to these guys are going to be Meyer and TR.
Yeah. And yeah, with the looking at the dungeon counts, I mean, this is a pretty massive lead, I would say, for Team Furaime will do an interview.
Yeah, it seems like that Ice Palace play early on is really kind of, you know, that and the lamp situation potentially, where, you know, Rywek may be hemorrhaging a little bit of time from it. That seems to be kind of what the difference is, as well as, you know, I mean, the execution that's happening here with Kyong and Furaime putting on a clinic for us today.
Yeah. And of course, having Red Mail along with the Butter Sword, you know, doesn't make it any harder. Looks like AsclepiosRod is now making that Ice Palace play. So Ice Palace required both for the Quake Medallion and for the Ice Rod.
Yeah, it's, you know, kind of double value. You know, we talked about the 3 items, 3 hints, and, you know, I guess with it being a 5/6 crystal as well, you could say there's another item tied to it.
And Furaime hitting that God Pixel and Thievestown Hellway. Very nicely done there. Rywek finding a Butter Sword.
You know, that Butter Sword is nice to have. Not a huge speed advantage. Makes scanning a little bit easier, a little more free, but all these guys very competent with just that Tempered Sword, gonna be just fine.
Yep. Rywek also getting a ped check in.
Yeah, these guys, unfortunately, still looking for that Ice Rod. They do not have that hint, so even more things that Quake Medallion is locking them out of.
Yeah, hopefully Asclepios will be able to do Pyramid Fairy right after this, so hopefully that's what they do, and that would put them into go mode. But just based on the dungeon counts, it might be too little too late.
Yeah, because both Kyong and Furaime are getting ready to add yet another dungeon checked off the list. Furaime already in phase 2 of 3 here with Blind, and Kyong already dropping in on the Moth. Moth giving it a little bit of a trouble being stuck up in that top left corner, but it gets the job done right around the same time Furaime does as well. So there's more dungeons done for these guys.
Alright, there's that Quake medallion. So, Les French Canadians just looking for that ice rod, which we know is at Pyramid Ferry.
All right, Furaime heading to that flute spot at 5 and into the Dark World, going to be knocking out Pod and Eastern. Very nice combo here when you have that mirror, just to be able to do all of it in one pass.
Yeah, for sure. Rywek also taking care of Pod and Eastern. Still no lamp, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I guess he's committed to the the lampless play, and that's fine. But I feel like that is going to cost him a little bit more time. It's just not quite as quick. But luckily, we got that fire rod. So I mean, the turtle room here going to be really almost trivial being able to light that torch.
Yeah. Kyong making their way into Mire. And is just going to have Turtle Rock left after this before heading to GT.
There's that big key for Furaime. So off to the back of Palace of Darkness we go.
And we see Rywek did use that fire rod to light the torch. As Asclepios heads into Cold Stare. So hopefully for them, they will check Pyramid Ferry next.
Yeah, and unfortunately, as we see Rywek here taking down Helmasaur King, that is, he's still got both of those 5-6 crystals left to do, so that's going to be even more of, I guess, a time disadvantage, even though he gets this information potentially if Asclepios goes directly to Pyramid Ferry from here. Still got 2 dungeons before you can actually pick that up, and having to detour to get that Quake.
Yeah. Did Kyong skip Silver's? He hasn't picked them up yet, but I wouldn't surprise me if he does that on the way to GT, since he'll be doing Turtle Rock right before.
Yeah, very possible for him to pick those up. I think that time investment, pretty much worth it. Given how much time it could save if you have to fight Armos or Ice Armos, plus your ammo count there as well.
Kyong making nice work of Vitreous, using some sword slashes and then some arrows. And Asclepios is doing Pyramid Ferry, so that'll put them in go mode. But again, just based on dungeon counts, they're quite far behind.
Yeah, indeed. And I can't blame Rywek really for, not checking the dungeons. And reason being, they're still looking for something. Asclepios has done them. At this point, make the checks that you can and, see when and where that item is going to show up. So just kind of unfortunate circumstance for them right now.
Yeah. All right, so almost 10 minutes after Furaime will do an interview, at least French Canadian now in go mode. And Kyong making his way into Turtle Rock for his final crystal.
I'll say I really like how Team Furaime has done the routing here. Kyong made that dive into Mire to get that information of where that big key was, while Furaime could, do those cleanup dungeons that could already go mode. No point in two guys kind of being lost within the same dungeon exploring for a key.
Yeah, for sure. Alright, Rywek heading into Ice Palace to pick up that Quake and eventually the Ice Rod. Furaime not quite getting the quick kill on Armos, but with Silvers it doesn't really matter too much.
So that's one dungeon left for Kyong, which he is in. There's that big key, so I guess we can skip the lava chest today.
Yeah,
and
also,
just 2 dungeons left for Furaime.
Yeah, also finding the first shield of the seed. Oh, chat correcting me, there was a shield in King's Tomb.
At least we don't have that huge, riot mirror shield causing that little bit of lag for these guys.
I like Kyung's bunny sprite there as a mushroom.
All right, so Asclepios making their way into Mire now to clean this out. I will say the seed has been rather nice to all these guys today. We didn't have to worry about doing an AGA trip to get into Dark World, so we'll be able to do it pretty quickly. We've got boots and, lamps and everything else, so it's going to be a nice smooth sailing through AGA Tower after GT.
Yeah, I wonder if Rywek will want to pick up that lamp. Probably not at this point. You can use a fire rod to light the torches inside AGA Tower, which will work, but it will be a slightly slower. Alright, well, Kyong now is almost at Trinex, has a key so it doesn't even have to touch Laser Bridge. And shortly after that, going to be in GT. So, with that, we do have the little game we play. There's 22 chests in the basement of Gan's Tower. One of those chests contains the big key. throw your guesses in chat. Numbers 1 through 22. Let's get that game started.
Furaime doing a very nice job here in the back of Meyer, getting that spooky action glitch, saving that little bit of time.
Yep. So if you are a subscriber or you have cheered 250 total bits, you get a chance to be on the leaderboard if you win. Dante, what's your guess?
I'll go with number 3, the untraditional number 3. Probably going to be on that right side instead of on the torch. But yeah, that's not as conventional as usual. How about you, Eddie?
Well, I'm looking through the chat. I want to pick something no one else has picked. I don't see any number 9. So I'll go, oh no, there's a 9. 6. I'll go with 6. No one's picked number 6.
All right, we'll see what it's going to be. Kyong has finished TR and is on his way over to GT. Gonna bypass those silver arrows, saying, I don't need those. Let's get this over with. So headed on into GT. Asclepios also getting that spooky action glitch in Meyer. Having a little trouble in the second room.
Well, gets it eventually. Alright, Kyong now in GT. So we are going to put an end to this guessing game and we'll see where it is.
All right, chest 1, just a small key. Chest 2, $20. And looks like we are going to go right side. Does manage to make it through. Took a couple of hits there, but was still enough time to have those torches lit. Here we go with checks 3, 4, 5, and 6. 3 is 20 rupees. 4 is 20 rupees. 5 also 20 rupees. That's the big 20 room today.
Wow.
Yeah, all of those just $20. That's incredible.
It is the most common item in the game, but you don't expect to see 4 of them in a row. Chest 7, which is the torch, not there.
Looks like we do not get to see Bob today if we make it down to his room.
Number 8 is our big key. And no subs or supporters have guessed number 8. The closest was, who else? The Fear Agent. That's, number 11.
Fear coming in here. I saw that in chat right before the game started. I need to win another one of these. Comes out winning yet again today. Congratulations.
Alright, so Kyong starts his Ganis Tower ascent as Furaime making his way through Turtle Rock. Asclepios on the second last dungeon, Swamp. Or not Swamp, Skullwoods. Rywek is in Swamp. So Lace French Canadian is actually not as far behind as I thought they were going to be. Just basically 1 dungeon behind, or 2 dungeons behind. But still probably not going to be... It is a pretty big gap, so...
Yeah, Turtle Rock really, even if you're go-moding it, it's still quite a long dungeon, as linear as it is. So, you know, it kind of makes the dungeon count. It gives people time to catch up, if you will, and
Yeah.
we're seeing how that happens with this scenario.
Kyong with a great one cycle on Lamo 2.
Asclepios finishing off Malthula here in Skullwoods, and Rywek also finishing off Argus, adding to their dungeon counts as well. One dungeon back, headed up to TR now. They'll be probably getting there right about the same time.
Yeah, so the unfortunate thing is they're not... Rywek actually still has to go to Pyramid Ferry to grab that ice rod, so AsclepiosRod will be able to relay back to them to let them know where the keys are.
Yeah, and it's on that main path. You know, the only real benefit here is potentially skipping the lava chest.
So I got a question in chat. What made this gap? I would say that early Ice Palace dive was a big factor because they found that Quake medallion, which Lay's French Canadians ended up hunting for quite a while.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And in addition to that, and this is nothing against the Les French Canadiens, but Kyong and Furaime are two very, very good players that are known for their execution ability, and they have put on, like I said earlier, a clinic today. Near perfect execution from both of these guys, and when you've got that happening, it's if you don't match it, it's easy to get a gap build up on you.
Yeah, and when you give these guys things like Red Mail, Half Magic, Butter Sword, they're just not going to make mistakes.
And, you know, swinging that back around, to be fair, you know, Asclepios and Rywek have had excellent execution today. You know, Rywek's put on a good show here with those dark rooms. And, you know, we still got the TR dark room. He got through the Meyer dark room, and we've got Aga Tower left as well.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so Aga 2 down for Kyong. Kyong landing on the pyramid. Still got to do Aga 1 before we can take on Ganon. But Furaime headed into GT, knows exactly probably where that big key is thanks to Kyong. This is going to be a pretty quick trip, I would say.
So yeah, Lay's French Canadians only ending up about a turtle rock behind Furaime. So all things considered, not that far behind, but
yeah, Kyong and Furaime, you know, they did get that early quake, but the ether medallion eluded them for a good bit of time. So each team basically had one medallion up on the other one throughout. The biggest difference, I think, there was, you know, Team Furaime will do an interview, had a dungeon to go along with it versus that overworld check.
yeah. Furaime using some interesting dash strats on the mimics.
Yeah, that was pretty nice. I like seeing those.
And Kyong almost up at Aga 2, or Aga 1 rather, doing Aga 1 after Aga 2. as is the normal way in all dungeons mode. So just for fun, how many blue balls do you think we're gonna get here?
I'm gonna go with 3. You know, not too many, but at the same time, not a completely free fight either. What do you think?
I think this seed has been a little bit too free, so I'm gonna go with 6.
All right, so here we go. Kyong dropping in on Aga.
There's one. Just one so far. Furaime making nice work of Limo too. There's blue ball number 2.
And there's number 3. Let's see if that's going to be it for him. Nope, there's number 4.
So we get another lightning cycle. And 4 it is. As Kyong finishes Aga 1 and is conveniently placed right in front of Ganon.
Yeah, it's so nice when you can do, Aga 1 here right at the very end of all dungeons. It just makes this so smooth and easy to do.
Yeah. Kyong just flying through the first 2 phases of Ganon.
Yeah, here we are already on phase 3, so we are going to do the silverless, but that's not. I don't think that's going to be a problem here for Kyong today.
Yeah, with half magic, I don't think he's gonna even be too worried about the torch glitch. Ooh,
That was a
close.
little scary there. Getting knocked back and being on where the platform was falling. Very heads up play to get back into the arena there.
Takes a hit from a fire bat there, so missed a spin.
And while this is happening, Furaime has finished Aga 2, so we'll be headed into Aga 1 tower here shortly.
Meanwhile, AsclepiosRod is in GT now, and Rywek is not far behind.
And down goes Ganon for Kyong. With that sword in the air, that fanfare playing, get those GGs in chat for Kyong.
And Kyong crosses the bridge into the Triforce room with an official SRL time of 1 hour 29 minutes and 12 seconds. He's the first of our runners to finish.
And just to note, this is going to be average time. We do have, it looks like Furaime still ahead of Rywek and Asclepios. But if something were to happen, Asclepios and Rywek not quite out of this just yet.
Yeah, it's not over till it's over.
It looks like Asclepios is actually going to go full right side We know that key is in that mini Stalfos room. So this is going to be a little bit of a time loss for him unless Rywek decides to go directly to the left.
Yeah, I wonder if this is maybe a little bit of a gamble on they're feeling a bit behind.
Yeah, that's very possible. You know, if you go this way, it's a little faster, I guess, you know, trying to get to the back just in case the key is here. But unfortunately for them today, that is not going to be the case. Rywek about to be picking it up.
So we will find out what's behind the Armros Knights here. We got a piece of heart, and 10 arrows. Rywek, meanwhile, making the ascent without the big key. I don't think this is going to work. Oh, he has the big key. Okay.
Yeah, Rywek did go left side first, so Asclepios now getting that big key, going to be headed up right behind him.
I missed that. Meanwhile, Furaime finishing off Aga here in just a moment.
And down goes Aga 1 for Furaime. So with silvers in hand and that butter sword, this is going to be a pretty quick Ganon fight.
Absolutely. Furaime using some dash strats on Ganon. No problem at all there. Nice dodging of the fire bats.
Yeah, solid work already on to phase 3. Meanwhile, Rywek finishing up Landmo 2. Very nicely done. Going to be headed up to the top of the tower.
Furaime cutting it close there. Setting up possibly for a triple. And
gets the triple.
Very nicely done.
Get and with that sword in the air.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just probably going to say the same thing as you. Get those GGs in chat for Furaime, who finishes with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 34 minutes, and 1 second. And Team Furaime will do an interview. Are your winners? So we'll see if they will live up to their team name. Meanwhile, Rywek getting up to Mold Zone 2 and AsclepiosRod not too far behind. They've probably seen the dot done, but they've decided to finish it out anyway.
And we are now joined in chat by Kyong92. GG.
Hey, thank you.
Hey, so what did you think of that seed?
It was pretty fast, all things considered. That hint for AlTTPR definitely helped us a lot.
Yeah, was that you or Furaime that went into Turtle Rock first? You went
I
in
did,
and then
because I was the one
Yeah.
from our team that did Ice Palace earlier, so I had the medallion.
And I would say, so what made you decide to go into Ice Palace so early?
It was a dungeon we could complete, it had 3 hints, and that was pretty much it, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that, I mean, based on what we saw, that was kind of the biggest difference between the two teams, is that you guys went into Ice Palace a lot earlier. But at the same time, the French Canadians also, they checked Catfish earlier, so they had that Ether medallion before you guys.
Yeah, I can definitely see that happening. I definitely wanted to prioritize Pyramid Fairy, mostly because we didn't have checked Pyramid and Catfish, so if something was there, it would be nice to have that done. But because of how things lined up, especially with I didn't get flippers when I went there to get the mirror, so mostly because Furaime went there without the boots, so he couldn't check left side of desert. Would be nice to have boots to check that as well, things like that. So we didn't really have a good opportunity to do Pyramid Fairy very early. So Catfish ended up being delayed as well.
Yeah. That was a pretty timely hint, though.
Yeah, definitely. Although we were heading towards that direction anyways. While I was going up there, I was doing the plan of going for Pyramid Fairy after Swamp. And nice.
Yeah. Meanwhile, AsclepiosRod using some bugnet strats on Aga 2. They've seen both of the dot duns already, so they're just having some fun here.
I can always appreciate the the additional swagnet strats, and there goes Agatu going down for Asclepios.
So, can I ask you, Kyong, what's with the team name? You guys won, but Furaime's not doing
Okay.
an interview.
Okay, so the thing was, we asked Fear if there was a limit on how long a team name could be. He said there wasn't, but still, our team name is an abbreviation. It's not the full name. The full name is Furaime will do an interview if we win the tournament.
Oh, so it's only if you win the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of thought it was going to be something like that, but yeah.
Yeah, that's quite the troll.
Yeah, doing a quick check here of the standings. This puts Team Furaime will do an interview if we win the tournament up to 6 wins, I believe. And 1 tie, I think, if I'm reading this correct, unless it just got updated.
There should be 7 and 1 tie.
Okay, yeah, it was updated.
Week.
Yeah, that's right. All right, so yeah, 7-0-1. That's very good for you guys. That's gonna put you 1 point to the good above Team Old Swagger Jackson in the Death Mountain division. So that'll give you guys an outright second place behind Team Awesome, who is currently still 8-0 undefeated. This is kind of becoming a little bit of a runaway race for you top 3 guys, seeing which one's going to claim that #1 spot potentially.
Next week's gonna be a big one because we're gonna play against Swagger Jackson next week. So blood will be shed, and that leaderboard will have some losses on the top 3 for sure.
Especially with that being cross key week. This is the week coming up here. Week 5 is going to be quite an interesting week for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, currently on our positions, mostly pray that Team Awesome managed to get a loss somehow, even though I don't really expect them to get a loss because they're 3 really good players, but yeah, just to try to get a number 1 seed, but because the rest is just under our control technically.
Alright, so Team Les French Canadiens now almost finished here. Rywek just dropping into Ganon. AsclepiosRod using some more bug net strats. So they'll be done in a moment. Looking at the schedule, so there is another league match today, and that one is over on Speed Gaming 4, and in fact, it's actually just started just a few minutes ago. That's between the Last Locationers with Dracaris and Illis, and Rush the Nintendo Swag with Swagalicious and Zero Rush. So if you're looking for more randomizer action, head over to Speed Gaming 4 as soon as this wraps up.
So Kyong, I'll ask you, what was your takeaway here with the co-op week? Did you guys have a good time or enjoy this mode? I guess I'm not sure how much co-op you've actually ran in the past.
Well, we actually did quite a lot because of the co-op tourney last year. I paired with Furaime in that tourney, so we already had some experience playing co-op together and stuff. We kind of knew, like, we already knew more or less how we wanted to communicate with each other and things like that, which helps a lot. Which are things that maybe you don't think a lot when you play this.
Yeah, for sure. Rywek launches the last silver arrow into Ganon, and so he's going to cross the bridge momentarily, so get your GGs in chat for Rywek. Although, looks like I think he might be waiting for his partner to finish. I think they might go ahead and cross the line at the same time. Just a little bit of fun.
Yeah, shooting those arrows against the wall. There we go. Shooting the one into the Triforce room. Trying to get that potentially super secret ending where you ring an arrow through the hole in the Triforce.
Yeah. You win a prize or something if you do that?
Yeah, I guess you get like 2 Triforces, you know, something like that. You know, get 6 triangles instead of 3. All right, so we're already in phase 3 here for Asclepios. With that butter sword, made quick work of phases 1 and 2.
Getting a torch glitch there. One more, and that'll do it.
Get those GG in chat for Asclepios and Team Les French Canadiens.
And looks like they're going to go across the bridge. They might be counting down
hand in hand, basically. So GG's to both of these guys. They have passed on doing an interview, but they said they would be in chat if you guys had any questions. But GG's to these guys.
Yeah, and for the record, they did not quite get the exact same official time. Asclepios with a 1:45.06 and Rywek with a 1:45.07. But close enough to be a tie if the by league rules. But yeah, GG's. Was a good race. Really that ice palace dip early on, I think that was about the point when things started going in favor of Team Furaime. Will do an interview.
Oh yeah, for sure. This definitely was, as are all co-op seeds to begin with, a little chaotic. Everybody's running around, looking for as many chests as they can, as quickly as they can to get progression and then figure out what to do with it and what kind of route they want to take. But that Ice Palace play, it was kind of the game of, each team had a medallion, and then at that point, which one was going to be the one to find the other one first. And in this case, it was Team Furaime will do an interview.
Yeah. Well, before we start to wrap up, I'd like to give a big thank you to our trackers, literally Jen and Cool Papa Bell. They did a great job today. And to my co-commentator, Dante. It was a pleasure commentating with you.
And as with you, a big thanks to Edium for co-commenting with me on this one. This was really fun. Had a great time here. Thanks again to literally Jen and Cool Papa Bell doing that tracking for us. Thanks to Speed Gaming for putting this on. And thank you guys, chat, and these runners. I put that command in chat. There's those Twitch links for these runners. Make sure you go follow these guys. Show them your support.
Yep. So, as I said, there is another match, and that has just started about 15 minutes ago. That's over on Speed Gaming 4. So check that out if you want some more randomizer action. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for us. Once again, GG to you, Kyong, and the rest of the runners. Do you have any final thoughts, Dante?
Oh no, this was a good race to watch here in the last day of co-op, and I think we just got a couple more left for this week. But next week going to be very, very exciting to watch with that cross key. Going to be really interesting, I think.
Yeah, definitely check some of those races out, because cross keys is it's it's interesting. I'll say that.
That's for sure. Well, thank you guys for being here with us today. That's going to pretty much do it for us. As we were saying, over on Speed Gaming 4, that other race is happening. So head on over that way if you want some more rando action. But until then, we'll see you next time. Have a fantastic rest of your day.